Now back to Xfinity Sports Night Live with Gary Radnich.
He is the best who's ever done it. We're talking about Leigh Steinberg, the first real super agent, and you don't have to go any further. You don't have to be a hardcore sports fan to remember the Tom Cruise movie. You know Steve Young, you know Warren Moon. There was a time when if you were a quarterback, that's the guy. And there it is, Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. They did Leigh Steinberg's life story.
Show me the money! Show me the money! Yes! Who just got louder? Who? Show me the money! What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money!
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
And here is Leigh Steinberg. The setting looks familiar to you, huh?
Oh, that was shot out of my Newport Beach window. They came and descended on my office. They took all my photos and they put Jerry Maguire's head on my body, and they replicated my wardrobe, and you know, it was quite an experience.
Is the Show Me the Money embellished at all?
I'll tell you where it comes from, Gary. Cameron was following me around.
That's Cameron Crowe,
was following me around, and one of the places we went was to league meetings in 1993, and Tim McDonald was looking for a team. He eventually ended up with the 49ers, had a long career. Cameron took him upstairs in Tim's room and started interviewing him, and he said, "Tim, what are you looking for in this experience?" And Lou Dobbs and Moneyline was on in the background. And he gestured toward the screen and said, "I'm looking for a team to show me victory," because I never had. "I'm looking for a team to show me respect. I'm looking for a team to show me economic security." And now is where the story diverges, because from Tim's perspective, he actually said, "Show me the money," and from Cameron's, he wrote the line.
Okay, because that's the one everybody remembers. Huh? All right, Leigh has a book out that's just terrific. I want to test your memory, and this will lead into Steve Young. You remember the last time you were in this building? 20 years ago?
Go ahead, Leigh, just talking to me.
I'm talking to you on the phone about 8:30. You go, "I'm with a Mormon, but I got 30 Mormons and Steve. We're celebrating the win over Dallas. We'd send them to the Super Bowl." And you, "All right, I'll bring them down." And
the first problem was this. When you went out with LDS people, there would be 30 people having a great time, exulting, that without anything, and they'd always send champagne over the thing, and I didn't want to insult the people, naturally, so there'd be one drunk lawyer.
A guy like Steve Young, you still friends with him today? Is that just legend, or is it true you passed on Peyton Manning?
So,
no, did you?
That was my most brilliant move of all time. Now look, I had 60 first-round draft picks, the first pick in the draft, 8 years, half the starting quarterbacks. Into each life, some rain must fall. And now comes Ryan Leigh from Washington State. And here's Manning, much better college quarterback. But the upside, now, it seems absurd in response as the years have gone on. But he looked like a better prospect, and Peyton wasn't making his mind up because Ryan came out early, so I took the sure thing.
You're, I guess, making a comeback because you were king. I mean, everybody, you know, everybody when they talk agents, and I'll say it again, you had a movie made of your life, and you had a bout with alcohol. But I'm just curious, were you just too big at that time? Where you thought, my God, I am the king, and nothing can affect me?
I was never that arrogant. I had a dad who taught me two fundamental values: treasure relationships, especially family, try to make a difference in the world he lived in. What happened is, in the 2000, a series of events. My dad died a long death from cancer. Two kids were diagnosed with an incurable eye disease. We lost a home to mold, and then I got a divorce. And I felt like Gulliver on the beach, being tethered down with Lilliputians sticking forks in them. That's not an excuse, but I'm explaining. So.
But did you drink before?
I was one beer Steinberg at Berkeley, okay? I was the lightest lightweight of all time. Now, we did other things at Berkeley, let's be honest, but
one beer was your handle.
But drinking was not the fix. But I caught up quick in 2007, 8, and 9. By the time I got to 2010, I realized this can't be what I was destined to do. So I went into sober living. I worked a 12-step program. I had a sponsor, and I said, you know, Gary, if nothing else, the rest of my life, I'll be sober and I'll be a good father. And that was, in March, I'll turn my sober birthday's 4 years.
Did you find out who your friends were?
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody in particular we know the name that stuck with you through thick and thin?
Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Earl Campbell. There were a whole series of people that were really good. They came out of the woodwork. The world didn't withdraw from me. I withdrew from the world.
Sure.
I needed to focus on that, put sobriety first, and now he's back.
Yeah. Did you go through 50 million?
No, more.
Really?
But when you say go through, I got divorced. I made sure that my kids were set for life through my wife. We gave a ton of money to charity. It wasn't all lost.
Because you always did. I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
It wasn't all lost.
I'm laughing. I still tell this story. And again, Leigh's all around the world. He doesn't remember this stuff. But we're doing a banquet out in the East Bay. And right when you were doing Troy Aikman, I'll never forget, and you're talking to people who just come in out of the rain, and you're going, can you believe Jones? He's only offering $11 million. Well, and I had to get up, and I remember saying, Leigh, please, look at Fred over there.
Yeah,
he doesn't have his shirt as
Well, here was the story. I'm on a cell phone, and I said, Jerry, we got to have $11 million. And he said, son, that dog won't hunt. And I took it to me. He wasn't accepting. And I said 11's fair. He said, son, we passed fair about $9 million ago. And I was on the cell phone, and I said 11. He said, no, 10.
Yeah. You're feeling pretty good now, huh?
Yeah.
You still want to represent me?
It's been my goal and aspiration since I was just a young boy growing up in...
No, I was too cheap. I didn't want to give Leigh, you know, 5, what was it? What would you take, 5 or 6% of these guys?
Well, most people charge 10, but I charge 7.5.
Okay, all right.
So for you, 7.5.
7.5.
And anyway, Gary, you're the last man in this business standing.
Yes, well,
you've survived the social Darwin thing that happens to newscasters, because you're great.
Well, thank you, Leigh. And this book is really fun. I mean, you go through this stuff and you see all the names, and it's, you know, I hate to be overly dramatic, but glad you're back.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, you got it
so
made.
much.
All right, and we'll be back in a moment looking ahead to the Super Bowl. Be right back.
You're watching Xfinity Sports Night Live with Gary Radnich.